saved my document. I can't undo it. I would like to show you another way you can select a range of cells. I want to select from A7 right here down to I14 to here. I'm going to use the Shift button on my keyboard. When I press A7, I single clicked. Now I press Shift on my keyboard and I can click the very far end of my range of cells, and now they're all selected. From here, I could go back and choose that I want no border at all. I could also go back and choose that I want no fill at all. But I like that fill. I kind of liked the borders as well. I'm making these changes, so I'm going to press Control S on my keyboard just to make sure that I don't lose anything. This is looking a little bit better, but I don't want to see all these grid lines. So I'll go to my Page Layout tab, and I'll find grid lines and remove the check mark from View. Well, that looks a little bit more visually appealing, but I still would like to have these grid lines here. This is the body, really, of my spreadsheet. So I'll go back to the Home tab, and I'll again select that I want all the borders. And right here, I would really like to have underlines underneath these items here. Now I could choose to have them be double border underlines. Oops, the reason why I did that was because I selected this range of cells. I'm going to click Undo, and I'm going to select Andrew West, and I'm going to choose bottom border. Then I'll select these, bottom border, and then I could choose to autofill this and choose to fill formatting only. What does it do? It brings back that department code that I had before, but it does just fill the formatting. That's a pretty cool technique. You can use that instead of using this Format Painter tool. What do you think so far? I don't know. It's not the best looking spreadsheet in the world. It'll do, but you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at what these styles can do for us. I'm going to go to Sheet 2 here, where I already have this information waiting. This indicates that these totals, this column needs to be resized, by the way. Excel doesn't, if it can't show you all the data, it doesn't want to show you any data at all, because it doesn't, numbers at least, because it doesn't want you to make a mistake by misinterpreting a value. I'm going to select this range of cells, and I'm going to go to Styles. From Styles, I can click this down arrow, and I can choose a regular style that's shown here. Ooh, that doesn't make sense for the whole table though, does it? That orange is fantastic. So I'll choose Format as Table. And from here, I could choose any one of these items. Look at that. That doesn't look too bad. I'm going to click Undo. I'm going to go back to Styles, Format as Table, and I could choose this one now, Medium. Or there's a scroll bar that you can't see, but there are a number of different styles that I could choose from. This is asking me, where's the data for my table? So I could change, and I could choose that the data for my table is just right here if I wanted to. My table has headers? Okay. Now it's just updating this table. And it's showing me how I can do some sorting and filtering. We'll get into this when we talk about using your spreadsheet as a database. I'm going to click Undo here, and I'm going to go back to Styles one more time, Format as Table, and I'm going to select this item right here. I'll just go with this basic item, and here we go. So this is something that is not bad, not exactly what I want, but it's not a bad item to use if you have a large spreadsheet that doesn't really need the separation of the top area from where the data is held. Now that we're using this style though, we have a new tab. We're in the Table Tools area. We have a new Design tab, which gives us some more tools that we did not have before. Notice if I go back to Expense Report here, I don't have that at my disposal. Back to Sheet 2, here we have it. And if I remove check marks, it removes items. Header row, I don't need that. Banded rows, ooh, I did like the banded rows. Maybe my first column needs to look different than the rest of my spreadsheet. Notice how it bolded just the first column. Maybe I want to just jump in and grab some quick styles. Now when I roll over it, it shows me the differences here. Some of these make a lot of sense for some types of spreadsheets. Ooh, that would look, it's like the opposite, the negative effect there. All right, let's go ahead and work with another spreadsheet. This is that same expense report. I'm just going tab to tab to tab. We'll work with themes now. Themes are found on the Page Layout tab, and these are the items that allow you to have consistency across either all of your Office products or, hey, at least in Excel, and it allows you to keep that business look. Some corporations have certain color themes, and they always want a certain font and a certain color. Maybe navy blue and black is something that is appropriate for your business because it matches your company's letterhead. Well, we can either go with a theme that's already built in here. For example, if I choose opulent, it updates my font, but if I look here, I see it's used the color palette from opulent. If I go back to home, my colors have all updated, and so is my font. So if I wanted to go with my corporate theme, I bet we sell flowers or something like that in our corporate theme. I certainly can. Notice how my color palette has definitely updated to be a little bit less banker type of corporate color palette and more fancy. I can go back to page layout here and I can choose a different theme. I could, of course, go out to Microsoft Office Online. I'd like to revisit the Office theme. From here, maybe I want to create my own theme, so I can select this spreadsheet and I can choose this blue for my background. I can select this text and I can make it white. And maybe I also like to use a lot of this Arial black. Well, from here I can select these items, whatever range. I don't believe you have to select the entire range. And I can choose to save this as a current theme. And I'll call this my corporate standard theme. Notice it's a .thmx. When I save this, now I'll be able to use this theme whenever I open up Excel. And because this theme was stored as a THMX file, I can cite that theme from Word, from PowerPoint, from any other Office product that I'd like to take advantage of this theme for. Let's go back to the Home tab and make sure that you feel comfortable with all of the tools that we have available. Cut, copy, and paste has been around for ages. When I click this item, it will show you actually what exists on your clipboard. So if I were to copy this item, it shows me that that's been copied. If I were to copy this item, it shows me that that's been copied too. You can copy a number of different items onto your clipboard, which can be fantastic because you can then choose what you want to paste back. I just want to paste 150 back, and here I'd like to paste 100 back. Well, you know, these are simple items. I could just type those in, but there are items that you want to keep on your clipboard. You could choose to paste everything. You could choose to clear your clipboard. Notice it holds 24 items. If I go into options, this allows me to show the Office clipboard icon on the taskbar. It also allows me to show the status near the taskbar when I'm copying, or I could choose to show this item automatically or when I press Control-C twice. Control-C is for copy. If I did Control-C, Control-C, I would copy it, but it would also display the clipboard. I prefer to choose Collect without showing Office Clipboard just because I'm old-fashioned and I don't like this thing popping up all the time. Totally up to you. When I click this down arrow, it allows me to move this if I wanted to put it somewhere else within my window instead of here. When I double click, it docks it back to where it was. Or of course I could close it and that X will close it as well. When I click this, it gives me my old-fashioned font dialog box, format cells. Remember we clicked it here? We had format cells, we click it here, we get the same old dialog box. Also, when you select a range of cells and right-click, you can choose format cells, or look at this. This is the floating toolbar that popped up automatically. It's supposed to pop up automatically when I select a range of cells. It's kind of interesting that it's not, because when you right-click, well, here it is, and it just seems a little bit like a waste of real estate space for that to occur. But from here, this floating toolbar allows me to choose different font types, and there it is. Now it's just floating. Kind of interesting. I'll show you. If it doesn't display on yours, you can go to your Office button, choose Excel options, and it's right here in the popular area, and it says show mini toolbar on selection. Show the mini toolbar when you select text. It doesn't say when you right-click on the text, so it was interesting that that happened. If I go back to this format dialog box, notice when you're in the number, we have looked at this already, the alignment, we use this button for that, but you can even select precisely the level of rotation you want your text to have. And that's how much it will be rotated. Something that I've always thought was strange about Excel, and I was always hoping they would update this. When you choose to wrap your text, remember that's right here, wrap text. It's also in your Format Cells dialog box, wrap text, and here's merge cells, by the way. It automatically aligns your text to the bottom of the cell. What does that mean? That means if I were to resize this column a little bit, my text is at the bottom. I always would prefer it to be at the top of the cells. I don't like all this extra space here if I don't need it. Here it shows that it's aligned at the bottom vertically. I could center it, or I could align it at the top when I wrap that text. I don't know why it's not a default. Let's go on back to our main expense report. Take a look at that. If we go into page layout view, we can see what it would look like if we were to print it out. This is a new view to the 2007 products. We knew already that this would be printed out on the second page. That's not good for us. We can go back to page layout. We can set our orientation as landscape. Oh, and we still have a problem. I'm going to go back into normal view here, and I think I'm just going to resize these columns a little bit here by double-clicking. If I were to select all of these columns at once, I could double-click, and every single one of my columns that were selected would be auto-sized. And I can tell now that this will print out. I can click again my print layout to take a look at how that's going to look on the paper. Oops, I should probably get back in there and fix that up a little bit. You do still have print preview here, but it's not necessary right now to go into that. I'll show you when we get into the printing nugget here. Let's go on back now to home. We'll go on back to our normal view of our spreadsheet. We're going to call this spreadsheet complete. I'll say that it looks good enough for us to print this out pretty soon. What was it that we covered in this nugget? Well, we took a look at the traditional tools. These are really all on the Home tab of the Office 2007 ribbon. The styles allow you with a click of a button to make your spreadsheet look pretty good. It